Hello, welcome to ETHRWorld Studio. Here is an industry story for you. Jaquar has long been known for redefining modern living spaces, and now it's bringing that same spirit of innovation to its people practices. By adopting SAP SuccessFactors, Jaquar is streamlining critical HR processes such as onboarding, performance management, and payroll, while empowering its workforce with intuitive self-service tools that enhance transparency and agility. This transformation is just operational, it's strategic. With AI-powered insights embedded across the HR ecosystems, managers are equipped to make faster, data-driven decisions that align with business goals, foster accountability, and create a more engaging and future-ready workplace. We at ETHRWorld want to build on this context and share with you more about how Jaquar is digitizing HR with purpose by adopting SAP SuccessFactors. We are joined by Ninad Raje, Group Chief Information Officer, Jaquar, and Maryann Abbajay, Chief Revenue Officer, SAP SuccessFactors. Thank you for joining us, Ninad.
Well, thank you so much. Firstly, it's an absolute pleasure to be around here. Thanks for inviting me and giving the opportunity to talk about SAP SuccessFactors. Well, the way I would put this is it has been a massive game changer for all of us, not in terms of only about technology, but in terms of making sure that how do we sort of look at it as a transformation from the business and HR operation standpoint. So it's more so about strategy for us rather than just a platform or a technology sort of implementation. And the way I would like to put this is we actually embarked on this entire journey of transforming the mindset of within our organization. You know, the way we were functioning earlier to where we are currently, there has been a mind shift completely from the draconian times to the more agile, more traditionally driven, from the traditionally driven to the more digitally driven sort of perspective. We are present in 55 countries, so we are a global organization, and we have a workforce of almost 12,000 people spread across these 55 countries. So how does one get all these people together under a single platform? And that is exactly where we started our evaluations in the market in terms of what are the better products, and then of course we zeroed on in this great looking SAP SuccessFactors, because we believe that, and we saw something which is not available in any other platforms in terms of getting the mobile friendliness, the fully integrated stack, the agility that brings in, the availability that brings in, and then of course it also has a lot of data analytics built into this. So all in all, it just fit into our larger scheme of things, and that's another reason why we actually went in for SAP SuccessFactors. And as the name suggests, it has been a huge success for us as of now, and I'm sure it is going to be with us for a longer period of time, maybe another decade or couple of decades time. And so that's the philosophy that we started with when we adopted sort of SAP SuccessFactors. And by the way, we have delivered it to almost around 8,000 people across 55 countries, and it has been a tiring journey. However, it has been the most fulfilling journey for all of us within Jaquar organization.
I hear you when you say that you sat with a big checklist when you were assessing and evaluating whether SAP SuccessFactors is what you're looking for your organization. And, before I bring in Maryann, I want to ask you one more question, that it was a strategic decision for you to move from your earlier application, because I guess you were using another HR application, to SAP SuccessFactors. Tell us about that why you decided to move, and what gaps did you see that SAP is fulfilling?
Well, so rather than sort of it being a very small, straightforward software or platform upgrade, we actually looked at it very from a different angle itself. We wanted our people to be more collaborative, bring all of them under one roof, under one platform. Otherwise, they zip around everywhere else, right? And then that creates a lot of silos, that creates nightmarish operational issues. and it's difficult and challenging for both, I mean, the HR and the tech folks to sort of provide the appropriate solutions. So that is the premise that we started with. And then, of course, we when we evaluated and assessed all the other market competitors, SAP stood out for something which is scalable, something which is more agile, something which is mobile friendly, and then it also enabled us to ensure that we have the appropriate data points with us for a longer time. So how do we make this future ready? And that's where SAP SuccessFactors stands out. That was the foremost reason that we moved from our earlier HR legacy sort of platform. And of course, it wasn't getting adopted because we found there were gaps earlier. And then, of course, SAP SuccessFactors came in and they filled all those sort of gaps which we spoke about. So predominantly, it was a transformational business decision, changing this entire mindset of manual going up to the digital platform.
Very interesting. And I really hear you when you say to have a unified platform for your 8,000 workforce. And, just like self-service tools, they get what they want from it. Very interesting. Maryann, I'd like to ask you that HR is undergoing massive transformation. Today, it is a strategic function. It is an engine for decision making, not only for the workforce, but for the business as well. How are you innovating the SAP SuccessFactors product to be able to serve the industry better?
Well, Ninad used the word draconian. And in the past, we were very transactional focused. We weren't focused on people experience. We weren't focused on the HR admin experience. And I think since COVID, that shifted pretty dramatically. So we've spent a lot of time making sure that we pull people in rather than simply say, okay, you have to take this training class and you have to do this process to get a new hire on board and those kinds of things. It's more pulling them in. And so employees are now in control of their own career. And one of the things that's really cool about that is they can decide, I want to take that training class. I need this mentor. I need this help, this gig assignment in order to be able to move to the next level. And we've seen that really help in terms of adoption. You talked about some of the things that you've done. I feel like when you go into a project like this, making sure that you do that marketing campaign, that you bring not just the employees, but the leadership team, all of the managers on board makes a huge difference and makes adoption really simple.
Very interesting. And I really hear you when you say that you have to empower the user, give them what they want, give them the right nudges, give them the right bouquet of offerings, and then, you will see them adopting. To that, Ninad, this is a good segue for me to bring the elephant out in the room, that is AI. There is so much buzz about AI. We expect AI to do everything for us. We've got spoiled by generative AI already. So where do you think AI can enable HR solution? How do you foresee this in future taking shape for the HR folks?
If you really ask me, across the board, I think AI now rules the roost. Everybody's talking about AI. And a lot of people have started adopting, and especially because of the Gen AI tools that are accessible and available at our disposal. AI has the opportunity to transform the entire people strategy and people management. Okay, that encompasses, of course, the HR functions as well, HR operations, and then we're talking about hiring, we're talking about onboarding, we're talking about learning, performance management, and so on and so forth. I mean, your attendance, time tracking, and payroll, and so on and so forth. All these things can certainly be aided with the help of AI. And I'm consciously using this word AI, aided, is because, I mean, it's, of course, assistance rather than replacing people. HRs nowadays are looking forward to more and more. How can they help and assist the employees in upskilling, in ensuring that how their talent can be further improved, improvised, from light talent, but also sustaining, improving the talent as well over the number of days and years to come. That's why AI sort of helps. We were, in fact, talking about it, our colleagues in the morning before we came into this particular session, goals, a simple thing like goals, till now it was It was a Herculean task for anybody and everybody to kind of punch in goals. Now with the help of AI, obviously it has become very, very easy, simplified. People can actually seek help and support of AI to create or punch in these particular goals. And then of course the managers could go ahead and people managers could go ahead and use their own ways and methods to review the performance and so on. It can also help track the performance and evaluations as well, because the data is already available. It is on a digitized mode, and it is just about mining that data and making sure that it is visualized appropriately with maybe tools like you have the Power BIs of the world or Tableaus of the world or Qualtrics of the world and so on and so forth. There are gazillion tools available. But the trick is to make sure that for AI to work, data has to be current, has to be appropriate, has to be latest, and has to be meaningful as well, and that's when AI brings in that power.
Your passion has come through your words, the kind of rigor and passion you had answering this question. I mean, I could really feel. So we've come a full circle. You need a unified platform and that captures data, and the AI can work on that data to give you, let's say, insights. I'll bounce the same question to you, Maryann, and you tell us, how are you integrating AI in the SAP SuccessFactors solution, not just for cutting-edge technology, but for meaningful outcome for both business and people?
Absolutely. So you started with one of the foundations, which is the data, because without the data, there's no AI, right? So we call that reliable. There are 3 R's in AI. Reliable is one, and that really focuses on the data. Relevant is the next. Where do you have to go to use AI? You don't want your employees going out in the public domain, putting company confidential things in to generate AI capabilities. You want that within your secure SuccessFactors environment or your secure Teams environment. You want it in the flow of work. So relevant is making it available to employees where they are. And then the last is responsible, making sure that everything is correct, that you understand where it came from, that you actually share with the employee the source of the information so they know exactly where you're getting it. So I think those 3 things together are what we're focused on. And I'll give you a pretty amazing statistic. In November of 2023, we came out with our first 25 AI use cases. And every release, we've done 30, 40, 50. Our May release of this year, 250 AI capabilities now available. And we're not just coming out with generative conversational AI. We're now focused on agentic AI as well, so that it can talk to a lot of different pieces of the organization, some SAP, some non-SAP.
Very interesting. I think we need to do another conversation on agentic AI soon. So as we wrap up this conversation, my last question to both of you is that for our viewers, what would your advice be for those who are just in the first steps of their digitizing their HR system? What would your advice be?
It is not about a platform, it is about an organizational transformational initiative. And when an organization thinks about transformation and an initiative around it, things change, things happen, because like maybe earlier I had mentioned that things don't get happen, we have to make it happen. All right. So that is the premise that we actually embarked on this particular journey, because imagine when you're talking about transformation and a mammoth transformation of the scale of around 8,000 employees, around 55 countries that Jaguar is present in, we need that kind of change management coming in. We need buy-ins. So start with those activities, get the buy-ins so that people know what they're getting into, why are we doing this, what are the benefits that they can see, and they can relate to it. The second being, make it mobile friendly so that it's accessible anywhere and everywhere, and don't kind of just limit it to like one sort of a desktop or a laptop or just one country or one location as such, because we come from Jaguar is a 65-year young organization. it is well spread. Other aspects is make sure that it is fully integrated with all the other sort of systemic environment that we have. So HR platform per se is not the only platform that is going to be available within the entire organization, right? There will be other sort of peripheral systems. Integrate all those systems as such. So say for example, if you have a sales system, or if you have, say for example, a travel system. So integrate all those systems along with the HR platform. So what we did successfully is when we implemented SAP SuccessFactors, we made organization wide, we made SAP database as the single most centralized information available for any kind of employee or for any kind of activity, because that is the first touch point when the employee is hired. Because by the way, we coined the name, it's nicknamed as Horizon. Our SAP SuccessFactors platform is called Horizon, and so everything is now getting integrated and just one login. And then ultimately what are employees looking for? Employees are looking for their performance, right? Right. Ultimately, how much am I getting at the appraisal time? So so make that very simple to follow. Set the goals, set the KRAs, make sure that the performance is appropriately available there, and make sure that the people managers also go to the system and carry out the appraisal activity or the annual review activities on the system rather than any manual Excels anywhere, so that, and make it transparent. So with this, what we have done is we have also changed our sort of review mechanism, right? From an Excel to system, everything will be in the system now, and it just makes life easier. And now we're going to start building on top of this. Now that we've already evolved to a extent, Joule AI, which SAP SuccessFactors has so successfully sort of brought to the table.
Maryann, your advice to...
My advice is to get started. That is it. Basically, we include Joule with SuccessFactors. And so you can literally simply turn it on. And pulling employees in, to Ninad's point, is important. You don't want to beat people over the heads with it. You want them to want to use it. Thus, it has to be simple. It has to be available in their flow of work. And it also has to add value. It has to save them time. And so back to one of your points, Ninad, about performance management, just making it simple for a manager to have a summary of all the things that employee has done over the course of the year. What was their last increase? How much stock did they get last year? Having that in one place just automatically generated is amazing. But I think number one is just getting started. And when you get started, having a purpose. Like, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to make people's lives easier? Are we trying to help them be more efficient, effective at their job? And then the communication aspect, as you said, making sure that everybody knows this is not going to take your job. This is additive. And I love your comment about the fact that people are not going to lose their job. But people who don't get on board with AI, they're going to get left behind. And so that's my message, is get going.
As we wrap this conversation, what I'd like to underline is just get started. For those who are, really rethinking about beginning this journey. And another thing I would like to reiterate is that when you're adopting a digital HR solution, you're not only transforming the function, you're transforming the entire organization. Thank you, Ninad. Thank you, Maryann, for joining us in this ETHRWorld studio conversation.
Thank you so much for having us here. And thank you, Maryann, for coming down. And it has been a insightful discussion.
Very much appreciate being invited. Thanks, Puja.
Thank you, Ninad and Maryann, for this insightful conversation. It's been inspiring to hear how this collaboration is not just about implementing technology, but putting people at the heart of digital transformation. Jaquar-SAP's vision, powered by SAP SuccessFactors solution, is a powerful example of meaningful transformations. We're excited to watch this journey continue to evolve. Thank you, everyone, for watching this episode of ETHRWorld Studio.